All right, it is 7:30. So we'll take a moment to officially call our legislative meeting to order. Mr. Gibbs, do you have our disclaimer?
Yes, good evening, everyone. This meeting is being recorded by the Borough. We are conducting the meeting via Zoom pursuant to the Governor's emergency declaration. As such, anything you say in your participation in this meeting could be recorded, and you are waiving your expectation of privacy. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. We will begin. I'll ask our mayor to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Okay, let's pledge allegiance to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mayor. Madam Secretary, can you please proceed with roll call, beginning with our state mayor?
Mayor Hopkins.
Present.
President Monroe.
Present.
Vice President Francis.
Present.
Councilor Johnson. I don't see her number on. Councilor Cave.
Everybody, I'm here.
Councilor McCabe.
Present.
Councilor Jones Waters.
Present.
Councilor Roadcloud.
Here.
Ms. Mulvana.
Here.
Ms. James.
Present.
Mr. Nichols.
Present.
And Mr. Gibbs.
I'm here and I have my face showing, so Dr. McCabe is happy.
That concludes roll call.
Thank you very much. We will move on to our citizens forum. Agenda items only, and comments will be limited to 3 minutes. Are there any citizens wishing to speak?
If you wish to speak, please raise your hand in the chat box.
So I guess, does that mean there are none?
Yes, that's correct, ma'am.
All right. We will move on to our minutes. Is there a motion for consideration for the minutes for our, is this correct? October 15th legislative meeting?
Yes, they were on for last time, but they got missed on the vote, so they're on there now to be voted on.
Okay, so our October 15th legislative meeting minutes, 2020.
So moved on October 25th. Yeah. I second.
Having been moved and seconded on the question, we'll proceed with the roll call vote. I'll call councilors in the order they appear on my screen. Councilor Jones Waters.
Yes.
Where's everyone? Councilor Dr. McCabe.
Present.
This is for the legislative minutes for October 15th, 2020.
I'm sorry. Yay.
Thank you. Councilor Cave.
Yes.
Councilor Roadcloud.
No.
Councilor Francis.
Yes.
It's a yes from me. The motion carries. Is it correct that there are no other minutes that need to be approved, Ms. Presswood?
Yes, we'll get them next time.
Thank you. So we will move on to our mayor's report.
Okay, thank you.
Mayor, you have your hand raised too.
Do I really? Oh, sorry. That's a mistake. All right, just disregard that. I was just checking the box and I must have mistakenly raised my hand. Anyway, the mayor's report is stands as submitted last week at caucus. Do want to
Mayor, can I interrupt you for a
Sure.
moment?
Sure.
Madam Secretary, Councilwoman Clara Johnson's present. Ma'am, are you present? One second, Mayor, I'm sorry.
Not a problem.
I have Councilwoman Clara Johnson's number showing up and she's unmuted on our side. Sorry, Mayor.
Am I good now?
Can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you, Mayor. The mayor's doing his report, Councilwoman.
All righty. I'm following the agenda.
Sorry, Mayor.
Yeah, no problem. Just a few things to underscore. We did hold our last of the 4 Mayors Forum on last week, Thursday, December 3rd via Zoom. The highlights were we had, 2 weeks ago, rather. We did have 5 Yeadon trivia questions. So we gave out 5 gift cards. That was pretty exciting, different via Zoom, but everybody should have gotten their gift cards via mail by now. The next Mayor's Forum will be next year, Thursday, March 4th, and that will be posted on the website shortly. The Mayor and First Lady did send out a holiday message, and I think it was particularly important this year due to COVID and what our residents have been going through. So that's on the website. And the only other thing I wanted to underscore is just to review the snow emergency declaration procedures and how that's called. The snow declaration for the borough is independent from anything else that happens. It's really depends on, how much snow we get, the nature of it could be snow, it could be ice, but it has to rise to a level where it warrants ordering the cars to be vacated on snow emergency streets. What that entails is on the snow emergency streets, and that is listed on the website, but they're the major streets like Church Lane, McDade, Bailey, the Cypress, Longacre, but there are others. And those cars should be parked at municipal lots. So I don't usually, in 8 years, I've only called 2 snow emergencies. One, I believe we had about 18 inches of snow. The other, we had, I guess, 28, close to 30 inches of snow. It's a judgment call and a cause effect. They're really asking a lot of residents to go out of their way to do that, and then it has to be timely for it to work. Usually, like Jeff was saying earlier, it depends upon the snow, the forecast, and if there's going to be a lot of snow, we know there's 20 inches, 25 inches, we'll call it. Sometimes, like in some blizzards, like the blizzard of '96 came upon us. If it comes or it gets much worse, it's really hard to do it midstream. It'll be called, but it's hard to do it midstream because a lot of the residents won't be able, they're working or they're not always available to move their cars in time. Then you have half of residents comply and half not. So it's really done on an emergency, on a very, very severe basis. So just because the governor orders a state of emergency, that's for the whole state. and there's different precipitation. For example, I believe in some areas, Pennsylvania, they got 2 feet of snow. And it's also done by the governor to make sure in a state of emergency that all the red tape, things are not held up by red tape, and things are processed and services can directly flow without the regular red tape. And also we also base it. Sometimes I, wonder what other boroughs are doing. So nothing warranted a snow emergency declaration just because we're going to get some, inclement weather, maybe some severe inclement weather, but that's the criteria that goes into it. So like I said, there's only 2 that I've called in 8 years, and that's because it was really, really, really severe. And the reason is also why it's called is that all the emergency vehicles, the first responders, fire, police, can navigate the major street. So if there's a blockage or there's bad weather and you can't get through the streets, then people's lives may be at risk. So that's the major reason why it's done. So I just wanted to review that in light of the inclement weather we had, the snow last night. And I did speak, and on that, I did speak to all the department heads, Chief Paparo, Chief Diano, Emergency Manager, Director Stokes, and Public Works Director Wilkinson. And basically, the report is as we already reported on that. They did a really great job. And like I said, the roads are basically clear, but there's going to be freezing overnight for the next 2 or 3 nights. So the temperature going to rise. It'll be okay in the day, and then we just have to watch it the next 2 nights. And that ends my mayor's report.
Thank you, Mayor. I have the pleasure of celebrating some of our milestone employees this evening. I'd like to extend our heartfelt congratulations to the following employees on their milestone anniversaries. I want to thank them all for their contribution to making our borough a better place to live in. We have a few employees I'd like to recognize this evening. In our library, we have Darlene Walker, who is celebrating 15 years of service. Janelle Schretzenmeyer, who is celebrating 20 years of service. Shlonda McCrae is celebrating 5 years of service. And Tiffany Simmons is also celebrating 5 years of service. Each of them will receive a plaque from our management. In our Public Works Department, Keith Fowler is celebrating 20 years of service. He will also receive a plaque. In our Police Department, Ronald Kent is celebrating 15 years of service. He will receive a shield with 2 logos. And Nicholas Tonkinitz is celebrating 10 years of service. Will also receive a shield with 2 logos. And we also have a crossing guard, Sammy Stinson, celebrating 15 years of service, who will receive a plaque to acknowledge that service. Thank you very much. And when we open back up, we'll be able to celebrate officially, but this is the best we can do for our Zoom meeting. So thank you very much. With that being said, I'd like to move on to our manager's report.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I am requesting that my report be accepted as read last week with the following additions. The e-waste scheduled for next Friday will be this Friday from 8 to 3 due to the holiday. As I emailed out earlier to everyone, trash is suspended for today and tomorrow due to the weather. So people with Thursday and Friday pickup will have to wait until next Thursday and Friday. Also, as a reminder, due to the holidays, those with Friday pickup for Christmas and New Year's will have their trash picked up on Thursday. And let's see, that's the trash. Grants for tonight on the agenda. Management is recommending approving the grant for Senior Community Service Center for $7,500, Men of Action, Brothers of Faith for $500, and the YEAA for $5,000. YEAA did request $11,000. However, due to COVID, we're not sure that there's that many activities going on for the youth right now. They're not able to do what they normally do. So we thought half would be sufficient for that. There were 2 other applications that were submitted. However, they were deemed ineligible for a few reasons. So they're no longer on the list. And the last update is that today during our consortium of government meeting, I was voted in as the vice president. And that concludes my report.
Oh, congratulations, Vice President Presswood.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We will move.
I actually have a question for the manager. The trash is suspended until next week for Thursday and Friday pickups.
So just Thursday and Friday. If you have a Thursday pickup or a Friday pickup for this week, you won't have your trash picked up until next Thursday or next Friday.
Well, why so long? It seems a little bit, why so long? What's the reason for that?
So I didn't speak to B&L directly. Mr. Wilkinson, he may be able to shed some further light on that. But my understanding is that in speaking with the owner's son, that they were unable to do it due to the inclement weather, and they were not going to be picking up throughout the weekend. So they were just going to get it back on a regular track come Thursday and Friday next week.
Is it next Friday Christmas, or is that Saturday?
Well, so it would go, if you're a Friday pickup next week, you would get it Thursday. Because of the holiday, you get it Thursday instead of Friday.
Okay.
Okay, so this is something that the trash company decided they wanted to do. Is there anything that we're doing from a financial standpoint with respect to their invoices, since they are delaying it a whole week?
When it comes to inclement weather, it's in the contract that they're not liable under the financial part of things for that.
Right, but I'm kind of thinking if they're going to come around Monday to pick up people, you know, whose trash is due to be put out on Monday, why couldn't they just put in, I don't know, some extra hours and pick up the rest of the trash?
So that's not how the contract was written. I mean,
I never saw the contract, so, okay, no worries, thank you.
I just would like to piggyback on that too. I find it troublesome that people who are scheduled to have their trash picked up for for today and for tomorrow, that, you know, some people already are putting their trash out. So it's neighbors that don't even know of the changes that's occurring now. You know, I, for one, because, you know, I didn't know until you sent the email, and I don't recall us drastically changing anything differently in the past years dealing with this trash company.
so I didn't see anything in the contract that said that they had to pick up this trash when there's inclement weather. That they, you know, like I said, I did not get to speak to Lou about this, so I'm not really sure if there's more of a reason as to why they're not coming around. I just know that I was told that they were not picking up that trash until next week, and then Friday's trash would be Thursday due to the holiday, which we had already had notice of due to the holiday schedule.
And councilors, what
I
we
think
could do
it's
is,
unfair, we shouldn't be accepting it.
and I was going to say that, Councilwoman, what we'll do tomorrow morning, personally, I will call along with Miranda to see if we can remedy this situation, because we shouldn't have to wait that long. You know, the contract's the contract. People can interpret it however they want. Me personally, I'll hit them in their pocket. That's what we've done in the past, and we can most certainly do it this go round. But I will call tomorrow to kind of put some fire under them to see if they could remedy the situation the next business day.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, Mayor Hopkins, also, I think, and thanks for that, Director Nichols. I think we could also let them understand that, you know, we are in the pandemic and people are home, and all around the country in this area, we generate more trash because we are home. And for people, and it is the holiday, so people are doing, if anything, more things, so they have more consumption. So wait 2 weeks and around the holiday, it is a little much. When I believe that, you know, they can, or just they should try to do it the next business day or two. But to ask people to wait 2 weeks around the holiday and to hit them suddenly, I think is a little severe. So,
And also,
point.
So wait, I'm sorry. Before we get a little too off track on this, you know, I do want to remind that we there is a contract that we have to follow, and then there's also information that would have to be disseminated. If trash, if it's not our normal practice to just go to the next business day, people aren't going to know to put their trash out for the next business day. And if the company is only doing, you know, the company does our whole borough, and they do certain routes. This isn't a company that I know to have extra trucks. This is a smaller company, and I believe that they use these same trucks to do our borough. So, and we've never had trash picked up on weekends. So we want to, you know, we can definitely pose the question, but then, you know, they come the next business day in an area that doesn't typically pick up trash that day, and residents wouldn't know to put their trash out. So
I think
Well,
it
I
should be
beg to
noted that
differ. I beg to differ because
okay, but
if
we all also can't talk at the same time. So
Madam President, I think it should be noted that our garbage is combined with the trash. And we really don't want to bring garbage back, and because animals get into the trash can when there's garbage in the trash can.
okay, so it's all noted, and the conversation will be had tomorrow morning to see if there's anything, but the soonest that it could even be would be Monday, and then communicating that would be pretty difficult. But
well, the norm has been the next business day that they're able to resume. That has been the norm. So what they're saying now is individuals who cannot pick up I'm sorry, we both can't speak at the same time, and I have the floor.
From this conversation, though.
So what I'm saying is basically they're telling people who put trash out on a Friday. I'm speaking.
We can't do this. We cannot do this.
Point of order, so we can move on to the next topic. We have agreed that we.
But you're giving out misinformation.
We are giving that we will contact.
You're giving out misinformation.
Okay, so Councilor Roadcloud, you no longer have the floor. Thank you. We will move on to our solicitor's report.
Evening. I had the chance to talk to council about the opportunity, about the issues related to civil service.
I'm sorry, Mr. Gibbs.
Yeah.
Councilor Roadcloud, that is unacceptable, and this is your first and last warning.
Okay. Councilor Monroe, I strongly suggest you continue the meeting.
I will ask for you to be removed from the meeting on the next outburst.
Only on Zoom. Only on Zoom.
Okay. I asked for a motion authorizing the advertising 21 public meeting calendar.
So moved. Second.
Having been moved and properly seconded, I will ask for a roll call vote in the order that councilors appear on my screen.
I'm sorry, Madam President, Eileen has something to say. Hey, Eileen.
Hi, I just wanted to see if you, I don't know whether they vote on the particular advertisements, but if you advertise the CDBG hearing in January, then we don't have to advertise it at the end of the year and it's a lot less money. It saves probably $250. So can that be added?
I do.
Thank you.
No problem.
Thanks, Ellen.
Thank you, Madam President.
All right, Councilor Jones Waters.
I need you to repeat the question. I stepped away.
The motion that I'm asking for is a motion authorizing the advertising for the 2021 meeting schedule.
Yes.
Councilor McCabe,
Yes.
Councilor Cave,
Yes.
Councilor Roadcloud,
Yes.
Councilor Francis,
Yes.
Councilor Johnson.
Yes.
That's a yes from me. The vote is unanimous. The motion carries.
Thank you, Madam President. I'll see you all next week.
Take
Thank
care.
you.
Have a good one.
I'm not leaving.
Wait a minute. We're not
I'm not leaving.
adjourning the meeting, are we?
We have a meeting next week.
Yes, we will see everyone next week on the 23rd, right?
Yes, ma'am.
At 7 p.m.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you for the reminder. We will move on to our tax collector's report. Is our tax collector on?
Yes.
Okay.
Good evening. Good evening,
Good
everyone. Madam President, my report remains the same as reported last Wednesday. Please accept it.
Thank you. Mr. Payne for our library report.
Good evening, everyone. Please accept
Good
my
evening.
report as submitted last week,
Thank you.
and I don't have any additions.
All right, thank you very much. And we will move on to our engineer's report.
Okay, so the first item is to consider adopting resolution 2020-020 to submit applications for projects for the FY 2021 CDBG grant, and you will need to select a priority and an alternate project. The two that I had suggested, the one was Cypress between Bailey and Longacre, and the second one was half of the block of the 400 block of Holly, and I'll fill in the addresses if they're the two that you go with.
Madam President, I move that we select Cypress as the priority and the Holly, I think, for the secondary project. I second.
All right, having been moved and properly seconded, I'll proceed with the roll call vote in the order that councilors appear on my screen. Councilor Jones Waters.
Yes.
Councilor Cave.
Yes.
Councilor McCabe.
Yes.
Councilor Roadcloud.
Yes.
Councilor Francis.
Yes.
Councilor Johnson.
Yes.
The yes from me. The vote is unanimous. The motion carries.
Okay, thank you. Last week, yes, I think it was last week, we discussed getting quotes for the replacement of the roof overhang by the Borough Hall police entrance. So I would be looking for authorization to prepare quotes.
So moved, Madam President. Second, Madam President.
All right. Having been moved and properly seconded, we'll move to a roll call vote. Councilor Jones Waters.
Yes.
Councilor McCabe.
Yes.
Councilor Cave.
Yes.
Councilor Roadcloud.
Yes.
Councilor Francis.
Yes.
Councilor Johnson.
Yes.
The yes from me. The vote is unanimous. The motion carries.
Okay, the next item is we'll probably read a little differently from what you see on your sheet based on information we received today. We did reach out to Chris Hansen and we were able to get a hold of him today. And he is the HVAC maintenance contractor that you have. And he indicated that he no longer will go up to that roof where the HVAC units are without either a door that gets him from the third floor down to the roof using a ladder, or if we hire and rent a lift for him because he feels it's unsafe to climb that ladder that is there. and it's 40 feet in the air. So that probably does violate OSHA, I would think. So what I'm going to recommend instead is that instead of authorizing us to prepare quotes, I would ask that you authorize Lynn Architects to do the plans for a door. I think over the lifetime, it'll be a lot less expensive to do the door, and they can do the roof at the same time. So it'd be not
Madam President,
NPI, but it would be Lynn Architects.
Madam President, I have a question.
The motion hasn't been made or seconded yet. But I guess, are you just asking for clarification on what the motion is?
No, I had a question from Eileen. Basically, with all this work that we're going to be doing on the roof, is this going to be the last that we need to repair the roof? I know you had to move the HVACs also. Is this going to be the end of it? And I like to make note that it be noted in this meeting that this will be the last working that we need to be done on the roof, on the borough roof.
So just matter of protocol, I think I'm going to move it.
And the overhang that remain, those are the last two pieces that have to be replaced?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
All right. And so,
go ahead and move it first, just so we
so
can.
that would just be the roof, but this is for a door. I don't see that one.
No, it's the door. It's the door and the roof. So he can do the bid for both. So it's probably better just to let him do it. We're engineers. Engineers aren't allowed to do anything with the architecture. And so he would be the right person to do the door. I did forget to tell you though, that Chris said that he did install the HVAC units about 12 years ago, which matches what we had been told. But he said that the roof was put on right before he did that, and that the roof is not 15 years old. It's probably only the 12 years that the HVAC units. So the roof should have had, I guess if it had been done properly, should have had additional life left, a significant life left. So it's unfortunate that it didn't last.
Okay. So the motion, so I'm sorry, I'd like to get to the motion. The motion is to authorize Lynn Architect to obtain quotes for repair and replacement of the flat roof and to install a door to access the HVAC units.
So moved.
So moved. Second.
Okay. Having been moved and seconded, I'll proceed with the roll call vote.
I have
I'm
a
sorry,
question.
are there any questions?
I have a question. Who is Lynn Architect?
Lynn Architect actually is your commercial code inspector. They act as the borough's code inspector for any commercial permits that are issued. They also did the design work to improve the library.
Okay.
I have another additional question for Eileen. Did they say where the leak is occurring on the roof, where exactly the leak is coming from?
Well,
Or they know?
You can, well, I mean, the pictures that we received, it shows that the roof is in poor repair in many places, but especially like where the roof butts to the wall and around where the roof abuts to the HVAC unit foundations, those seals are not intact.
Okay, so I think we need to take a look at that because ironically, a similar situation happened at our church where they screwed in lights in the roof, and the roof is not built for a lot of that wear and tear. Now that's fine, but after years of precipitation, where the bolts are and the screws are, they wear off after a while, and it erodes the roof. So I'm not an engineer, but that's what happened there. And can't that happen to the roof, or isn't that what happened in part? If there's heavy HVAC equipment on the roof, then we're not going to get the life out of the roof.
I don't think it's just that. I think based on the pictures, you can see that there is a weather issue with the location, with where that roof is located, and perhaps it was multiple roofs, and they should have removed the last roof and started over again with sheathing, and that wasn't done. It sounds like there's several roofs there, and that was, I guess they put a third roof on, and we all know you're not supposed to do that. So I think that we're at the end of this.
All right,
I think it just needs replacement at this point.
Yeah, but
All right, so Mayor, we're in the middle of a motion to.
That's upsetting. Who's taking a look at these things to make sure that we get the proper job? You shouldn't put shingles or put
Mayor,
over another roof.
Mayor Hopkins, we are in the middle of a motion, and the roof is over 12 years old. That predates all of us and our service on council. So we are.
I have a question, Eileen. Eileen, you mentioned Lynn Architect. Is there any way that we can have other architects?
There is. From personal experience, he's really a very good municipal architect. He's very good at keeping to budgets and developing scopes of work that, one, meet the timeline, and two, always come under budget. And when we bid the library, he was definitely the lowest bidder. And I'm not sure this is a very small project for an architect. So I don't know if it's, you might spend as much getting quotes, like preparing a quote for them to bid, as you will in him doing the job.
Yeah.
He's known all over the county. He has a lot of experience, and you guys also, he's on your, you pay him already. He's a borough
Sender.
Yeah, I just didn't receive back, the most favorable feedback. So
from the library?
No, with respect to the architects. So I was just asking.
All right, so is there any further questions or discussion? All right, I'm going to proceed with the roll call vote. Councilwoman Jones Waters.
Yes.
Councilor Dr. McCabe.
Yes.
Councilor Cave.
Yes.
Councilor Roadcloud.
No.
Councilor Johnson.
Yes.
Councilor Francis.
Yes.
So yes from me. The motion carries.
Okay, thank you. And the last one is, there was discussion last week to add additional exterior lighting. So we did take a number of photos and visited there. And what we're seeing, and I did ask around to different borough personnel, and the feedback that I'm getting is that if we were to add sconces on either side of the main entrance at the second level, and then do bollards going up that sidewalk, that would be sufficient. But I would like guidance from council as to whether or not that is all you're looking for, or if you did want additional lighting, and then at that point just authorize us to get quotes, because I think quotes will be enough to do what I'm suggesting. I just need to hear if there's any additional areas that you're hoping to have improved lighting.
Madam President.
Mayor.
I think the parking lot needs to be looked at. The parking lot is very dark.
We don't know that.
So Eileen, does that change your consideration request?
I think that it probably will go to public bids if you add parking lot. The parking lot was done, and the feedback I got when I asked around to the borough employees was that the parking lot seemed fine. So if the parking lot needs to be looked at, I think you probably are at a bid rather than quotes.
Well, why couldn't you just put brighter lights in the parking lot?
Right.
Well, so that's a different issue. So you're saying that it's just not bright enough, but there are sufficient lights.
Yeah, I don't know
Okay.
whether it's sufficient or not, but I do know that a brighter light would give more light.
Okay, there is a science to lighting. You don't want to do inconsistent lighting. It's better to have even lighting throughout. You don't want dark spots, bright spots, dark spots, because it gives the feeling of an unsafe environment. So we'll look at that. Maybe I'm not ready to get that authorization then tonight. Do you want us to do that first and bring it back up next week?
So how about we consider the parking lot separately and the sconces and the walkway lights for this one?
Okay.
All right, and since we do have another meeting next week, maybe we can roll that in next week.
So you need authorization for this one, Madam President?
Yes.
So moved.
Second.
Having been moved and properly seconded, I'll proceed with the roll call vote since we had the discussion beforehand. Councilor Jones Waters,
Yes.
Councilor McCabe,
Yes.
Councilor Cave,
Yep.
Councilor Roadcloud,
Yes.
Councilor Francis,
Yes.
Councilor Johnson.
Yes.
So yes, from me, the vote is unanimous. The motion carries.
And that's it.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you very much. We will move on to our finance.
How you doing, everybody? Madam President, I am seeking a motion for the consideration of the accounts payable list, please.
So
So
moved.
moved. Second.
All right, having been moved and seconded on the question.
I have a question. With respect to the $5,000 payment to the tax consultant, will this be a one-time payment or is this a monthly payment? What type of payment is this?
Council, right now, the agreement that, or the authorization the council gave was for this to be a one-time $5,000 payment.
Oh, this was a council decision? I don't recall this. But it is a one-time, this is for the deputy tax collector, correct?
Correct.
And this is a one-time payment?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
All right, we will proceed with our roll call vote. Councilor Jones Waters,
Yes.
Councilor McCabe,
Yes.
Councilor Cave,
Yes.
Councilor Roadcloud,
Yes.
Councilor Francis,
Yes.
Councilor Johnson.
Yes.
So yes, from me, the vote is unanimous. The motion carries.
And Madam President, may I have a motion to approve the cash balance report?
So
So
moved.
moved. Second.
All right, having been moved and seconded, I will proceed with the roll call vote. Councilor Jones Waters,
Yes.
Councilor Cave,
Yes.
Councilor McCabe, Councilor Dr. McCabe,
Sorry, I didn't know I was muted. Yes.
all right, Councilor Roadcloud,
Yes.
Councilor Francis,
Yes.
Councilor Johnson.
Yes.
So yes, from me, the vote is unanimous. The motion carries.
Then, Madam President, I believe C shouldn't be on there for this meeting. I think that was we already did that. But Madam Secretary, I think the motions for YEAA, Men of Action, and Senior Services should be on here on the agenda. Is that right?
Yes, I see them as D, E, and F.
I think I'm looking at the preliminary one. Okay. Yeah, that's right. I'm looking at the one before we amended. All right. So hold on. Let me pop up.
So I can call them out for you. If you're
Okay, great. Go
All
for
right. So we're asking for a motion for consideration of approving the grant application for senior community services. Their donation request, which hasn't changed in a number of years, is $7,500.
So
So
moved.
moved, man. I'll be second.
All right, having been moved and properly seconded on the question. All right, Counselor Jones Waters,
Yes.
Counselor McCabe,
Yes.
Counselor Cave,
Yes.
Counselor Roadcloud,
Yes.
Counselor Francis,
Yes.
Counselor Johnson.
Yes.
The yes from me, the vote is unanimous, the motion carries.
I have the proper agenda up now. Madam President, consideration for approving the grant application for Men of Action Brothers of Faith in the amount of $500.
So moved.
Second.
Having been moved and seconded on the question. Hearing none, we'll move for a vote. Counselor Jones Waters,
Yes.
Counselor McCabe,
Yes.
Counselor Cave,
Yes.
Counselor Roadcloud,
Yes.
Counselor Francis,
Yes.
Counselor Johnson.
Yes.
The yes from me, the vote is unanimous, the motion carries.
Madam President, F is a motion for approving the grant application for the Nile Swim Club. Donation request in the amount of $20,000.
No. Councilor K, that actually, that's off. I'm sorry. It was only the 3.
Okay.
I think we must have sent you the old version of the agenda. I apologize for that.
Okay. So is on the correct version, is YEAA on the correct version?
Yes, and their request was $10,000, but our recommendation is $5,000 for council's consideration. Again, council can determine if they want to do 5 or 10. The reason our recommendation is $5,000 is because of COVID. The borough gave them $10,000 this fiscal year, and they weren't able to provide all the services. So that's just our recommendation. Again, you all can decide if you want to do the full amount of 10. Our recommendation is 5.
Okay, I will move it, and then I think I have another question or two on there. So, Madam President, I am asking for a motion for the approval of $5,000 donation to Yeadon Education Athletic Association.
So
So
moved.
moved.
Second.
Second.
Having been moved and seconded on the question.
Yeah, I was reading through the application. I was hoping to get I think a little bit more detail of how they were able to use during the season of COVID. Unfortunately, the grant that we donated last year, and how much they were able to get into that, and then I think what their projection is, I think we'd all would love to be fully operational for everything that we're doing for 2021. And that's a good recommendation to probably reduce it a little bit. And I do love the fact that they're also seeking other grant partners. But I think I'd love a little bit more clarity of what next year realistically looks like before I think I'm ready to approve anything. That's just my
So what we could suggest is to table this until the next meeting on the 23rd and maybe ask for a little more detail about how they intend to, what their, I guess, COVID protocols are going to be going forward to make, like, what else are they doing for the youth in lieu of being able to do the in-person sports?
Yeah. So, Madam President, I would like to ask to table that until further clarification.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Okay, so do we need to vote on a table, Mr. Gibbs?
Yes. Yes.
I didn't hear Mr. Gibbs.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so we'll proceed with the roll call. The question is the motion is to table YEAA to the next meeting, which would be on the 23rd. Pending additional information. Counselor Jones Waters,
Yes.
Counselor McCabe,
Yes.
Counselor Cave,
Yes.
Counselor Roadcloud,
Yes.
The yes from me, the vote is unanimous, the motion carries. Mr. Nichols, can you please make sure to follow up with YEAA to get a further explanation of how they've used the prior funds and what they'll do going forward?
We requested it this afternoon already, Madam President.
All right. And then we missed a motion under management.
So, Madam President, we were seeking a motion for the consideration of adopting the 2021 Yeadon Borough Recognized Holiday Schedule.
So moved.
So moved. Second.
All right. Having been moved and seconded, are there any questions on the holiday schedule?
Are there any specific changes rather than the?
No, Councilor Cave, the same as this year.
Sounds good.
All right.
My birthday isn't on there this year?
Was it on there last year? Councilor Jones Waters?
Yes.
Councilor McCabe?
Yes.
Councilor Cave?
Yes.
Councilor Broadcloud?
Yes.
Councilor Francis?
Yes.
The yes from me, the vote is unanimous, the motion carries. Mr. Nichols, you sent me information that you have an update on the trash collection.
Yes, Ms. Presswood will present the information. She did speak with BNL while we were on this Zoom session. Ms. Presswood?
Yeah, so as Mr. Nichols said, I spoke to both Mr. Wilkinson and Lou Jr. from BNL. Apparently there was some misunderstanding between the two of them. Trash will resume tomorrow. What Mr. Bari Jr. mentioned is that when they go into the alleys, if it's not properly plowed, they can't really get the trucks through there. So he said he's going to make his effort to get through the alleys and do what he can, whatever pickup he can at that time. So whatever pickup is not able to be done, if that's the case, if the ice doesn't melt, if the trucks can't get through or they're getting stuck, then they'll pick up next day. So as of now, yesterday's trash will get picked up. I'm sorry, today's trash will get picked up tomorrow. And tomorrow's trash should get picked up tomorrow unless they have some issue getting through the alleys, because he said Thursdays and Fridays pickups are all our alleys. So that's the problem. If the alleys aren't properly plowed, they can't get in and out with the trucks. So they're going to do what they can to pick up today's trash tomorrow and tomorrow's trash tomorrow. Otherwise, it does go to the next day. So sorry for that confusion.
The next trash day or the next business day?
The next the next business day, correct. So if Thursday pickup is not picked up, the next day that it's supposed to be picked up is the next day, which will be Friday. So today's trash will be picked up tomorrow. And then anything missed on Friday, they would have to get Monday.
And we will make sure that we put out a thorough communication on all outlets so that this is communicated again tonight. We'll make sure that happens to clarify what's already been on the website.
So Friday's trash will be picked up tomorrow?
Correct. They're going to make every effort to get it. So like I said, the only way that they don't get tomorrow's trash is if the alleys are so icy that they can't get their trucks through. They did say that they do have issues when the alleys aren't properly plowed. They can't really get through. So as long as this ice snow isn't preventing the trash truck from getting through and it melts, they should be able to do, they're hopeful that they'll be able to just go in and get everything done. Another thing he mentioned is that, just so people are aware, when they go to the dumps, if those scales are frozen from the ice, then that delays pickup as well. So I know people normally expect and see them come around at certain times. However, when things are icy, frozen, it does hold up the line and it does delay it. So just an FYI on that as well.
All right.
So I do have
Thank
a
you for the
question. I do have a question. I don't know who can answer this, but you indicated that if the driveways aren't plowed, the alleyways aren't plowed, who's responsible for plowing those alleyways? You're splitting up common driveways, correct?
Public Works plows the alleyways in the borough.
No, we do not plow the common driveways behind the houses.
So now that presents another issue, because if the trash cannot come around because the driveways, well, the common driveways are not plowed or shoveled, then our trash don't get picked up. So I think we need to come up with some sort of resolution with that, communication with the residents, so we don't go through this in the future. Something needs to be done.
Do we
Madam
have some?
President,
So I'm sorry, is it part of a code or ordinance that people have to shovel their driveways?
Madam President, because they are common driveways, and I'm sure that someone could correct me if I'm wrong, because they are common driveway, it is behooving to the people who live in those driveway areas to clear the common part of that driveway as well as what anchors around their property.
I would think so as well, but I guess I'm
That's
wondering if we have an ordinance to that effect?
We do not.
So that's the private property, so don't people have to clear their property?
Yeah, we don't
I'm
have
sorry?
any ordinances. We don't have an ordinance governing, I don't know if Rufus is here or not. We don't have
Mr. Stokes left the meeting. He said he said in the chat he had a family emergency.
We don't have an ordinance governing the back driveways. I know you have to clear your front walkway of snow, but not the back driveways.
Would that
Okay.
not propose, Madam President, may I?
Thank you.
Would that propose a problem if we did direct an ordinance for that as to when that common driveway cracks, then they're going to be looking for us to pave and repair when it's really their responsibility as well? Is that something we need to consider when we're doing this?
Yes, ma'am. And there's some liability about us plowing private property. And as a solicitor, I view the common driveway as private property.
So I guess the concern is that the concern for the trash trucks really isn't so much the snow, it's the ice. So we'll have to look at whether we do have anything that discusses clearing those areas for snow, and if not, then we can consider drafting something.
Well, it's never been a problem in the past. So I don't know why we're coming up with all this new stuff. It's never been a problem before.
No, I mean, my experience, I think the council is right. People clear them. We penalize people for not clearing their front walkways from snow after the end of a snowstorm. But I've never had brought to my attention there's an issue with a common driveway not being cleared.
That's true.
Correct. Another thing with the common driveways, plowing them back there and trying to clear them, there's nowhere to put the snow.
But in the street.
Or if you on your property, where clearing a way for cars to go down, because neighbors do participate and help clean the back out. I know my block have, so I know other blocks do the same thing. So I mean, I've never heard of it being an issue before of the trash trucks unable to get, through the driveways.
Okay, so I know that if there's ice, then they can't gain any traction. I know they have other things that they do, but they don't want to do things that are also going to damage the driveway. But we're kind of putting the cart before the horse here. Let's see if they can get around tomorrow to gather Thursday and Friday's trash, and then we'll move on from there. Okay. And we can also circle back and have another discussion at our next meeting in a few days. We need to. There's a motion under Public Works.
Consideration of adopting resolution number 2020-019, the Cora Assessed Transfer Act 537 plan update.
I'd ask Eileen or Nafis to explain it.
So, Mayor and Council, this particular resolution has to do with the agreement that all municipalities have with Darby Creek Association and their agreement with Delcora As some of you may know, Delcora and Aqua entered into a purchase agreement. So this is just us updating and passing a resolution signing off about the asset transfer from Delcora essentially being consumed by Aqua. We're pretty much required to do this, I believe, Mr. Gibbs. Otherwise, we'll have we'll have a pickle on our hands because we're part of the Darby Creek Association, and Delcora sold to Aqua.
Okay.
Okay. Do you want me to?
So moved.
Or Eileen, you can talk the techie talk, engineer talk around it, I guess.
I just wanted to add one thing, that if you don't do this, then you need to find a way to treat your sewage, and you need a treatment plant. So that's it's almost like you have no choice, because you definitely don't have the land, and the cost is millions to develop a treatment plant. So.
Madam President, so
Is
moved.
there, thank you very much. All you had to say was millions. Is there a second?
Second, Madam President.
All right, we'll proceed with a roll call vote with the discussion having occurred prior to the motion. Councilor Jones Waters,
Yes.
Councilor McCabe,
Yes.
Councilor Cave,
Yeah.
Councilor Roadcloud,
Yes.
Councilor Francis,
Yes.
Councilor Johnson.
Yes.
The yes from me, the vote is unanimous, the motion carries. All
Madam
right,
President,
ma'am.
Madam President, I'm asking council to accept the minutes, the report as read at the caucus meeting also. In addition, there will be a Zoom meeting referencing Shade Tree. That meeting will be scheduled early in January. And that concludes my report.
All right. Yes, this is a meeting that Councilor Johnson has been waiting some time for. So if anyone has any questions regarding the shade tree, please make sure to forward them to her so she can bring them to the meeting.
I'm sorry, we missed code, zoning, and ordinances.
Yes, there's Mr. Stokes asked that his report be accepted as submitted at caucus, and there were no motions under that.
Well, I do have a question. Maybe the solicitor could answer, same. My question is simple. Well, just like the back common driveways now, there's an issue with people clearing out the ice and snow. So we have codes and ordinances that are antiquated, and we also do not have codes and ordinances to address some of these present day problems that we have. Another issue that I'm noticing throughout the borough is I'll call them tiny houses because I don't know what else they are, but tiny houses being built on private property in the backyards, and or trailers being utilized as additional space, room, so to speak. I don't know if we have any codes and ordinances addressing that as well, but I noticed a trailer that was erected on a piece of property with electric cords coming from the main house to the trailer to provide electric, and someone is basically using it as a living space. I don't know, but do you know when we will have an opportunity to actually sit down and go through these antiquated codes and ordinances and come up with some codes and ordinances to address some of these present day problems?
So Councilor Roadcloud, if you have any complaints that you want to submit or concerns that you want to submit to the code department, you can do so in writing through management. This is our voting meeting, so the bulk of our discussion happens at our caucus meeting.
No, I'm just asking whether or not the solicitor will have an opportunity to sit down and actually do some of these codes and ordinances. That's it.
Okay, so you can submit that request directly via email. This is our voting meeting. We'll move on to public safety.
Thank you, Madam President. Public Safety Committee met on Saturday, November 28th, and the report stands as submitted. The only thing to underscore is that our next meeting will be this Saturday, the 19th, not the 26th, the day after Christmas, but this Saturday, and a Zoom invite has been sent out. And then the only other thing is to hear from the department heads, although I believe they gave the bulk of their report earlier. But Police, Chief Paparo, do you have anything to add?
I do not, Mayor and Council. I'll let my report stand as is.
I don't think we have the Fire Chief. Rufus, Emergency Management, do you have anything to add?
Rufus had a family emergency and had to step off the call.
That's right. And I think Jeff gave his report, but do you have anything, Jeff, to add?
No, Mayor, I do not. Thank you.
There ends Public Safety's report, Madam President.
Thank you
I
very
have
much.
a question
Sure.
as it relates to public safety. I had a constituent contact me in reference to the community alert system. And I was told that constituents had asked in the past about that system. Where are we with that? I think it would be a benefit to our town to have something like that, especially with this COVID going on and other issues going on in the borough.
So Councilor Jones Waters, again, this is our voting meeting. The bulk of our discussion meeting happens at our caucus night, but I'm sure management can reach out to you and let you know what we have available and where we are with obtaining any others, and so you can respond to that constituent. All right. We will move on to our recreation.
Madam President, everybody, good evening. Madam President, please accept my report, which was submitted at caucus meeting. So ends my report.
Thank you, Councilor Francis. With that being said, I wish everyone the happiest of holidays, and we'll do this again on the 23rd. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
So moved.
All right. Have a good evening, everyone. Thank you very much.
Good night.
Happy holidays. Good night.
Night.
everyone.
Happy holidays.
Yeah.